Dit is vakansiedag en oudergewoonte het ons weer vir jou lekker kyk inhoud op jou vakansiedag. Hallo en welkom by Kletskompas. Ek is Irene Marie van der Walt en vandag bring ons vir jou onderhoud met Dr. Clara Jekerta van die KUS, waar die Ronke-talkspan met haar gaan gesels het oor haar poging om gratis servikale ondersoeke vir servikale kanker te bied. Dan gaan kyk ons ook na die vordering met die Matches on the Map poging. Dit is 'n egpaar wat bewusmaking doen vir die skenking van beenmerg.
Hello, I'm Dr. Clara Jekerta from Walvisbaai. I am an obstetrician and gynecologist. I've been in Walvisbaai for the past 9 years, and it's good to be with you today. Actually, it just started spontaneously. We had a kind of a remembrance of cervical cancer screening day, and we realized that there was a great need of women who turned out in numbers. So it was quite overwhelming to realize. Actually, we did not think through about starting screening women. When we started, it was to remember the Cervical Cancer Day, and we screened women and they came in numbers, and we realized this was a great need within the region. And so that's how it started. It was not something planned. Okay, I'm an ordinary Namibian resident in Walvisbaai. I am a family woman who does the normal day-to-day duties outside being a doctor. Actually, in the Erongo region, cervical cancer is quite prevalent. We've got around 200 new cases of women being diagnosed with cervical cancer. And the misconceptions surrounding cervical cancer is that people think that if you have cervical cancer, you're promiscuous, you have had multiple partners, which is not true. You just need one sexual contact with somebody with HPV for you to have cervical cancer or to develop eventually into cervical cancer. Some people think that if you go for a pap smear, the pap smear is very painful, and cervical cancer only occurs in older women, which is also a big misconception. Cervical cancer can occur in any person. So those are some of the misconceptions that we see. We actually start screening from the age of 21. That is a very young age. So you don't wait until you are 45 because you might already have cervical cancer by then. One of the other misconceptions are that if I have got cervical cancer or I have HPV, I'm going to die, which is actually not true, because HPV integrates into your cervix and it takes a long time until somebody actually develops cervical cancer, 5 to 16 years to be specific. And also that I have to wait until cervical cancer gives me symptoms. Most of the people that have cervical cancer don't have any symptoms. So one needs to go and actually be screened, because cervical cancer is a silent killer. Yeah, women think that it's painful. A pap smear is very easy to do. It's very quick. It is uncomfortable, of course, but it's not painful. It's done in a very confidential way. It takes maybe about 1 to 2 minutes, and the pap smear is done. Okay. When we started with screening, we actually went around looking for funds because we had realized that there was a great need. We partnered with Velvicia Hospital to start with, with Erongo Medical, Pharmaceutical, and many other stakeholders around Walvisbaai, Erongo Red, and many others. So, and laboratories. So we realized that there were many people that were willing to assist to make our community a better community, to make our women healthier. So that's how we started. Okay, funding has been quite a challenge. Every year we write letters to different stakeholders, organizations that have been supporting us. Sometimes we get some funds, sometimes we don't get. But we have been very fortunate that the community has got a very good understanding of what screening does. Screening saves lives. Screening prevents women from actually getting the disease, and therefore it becomes more costly for the community as well as for the nation. So we've been fortunate to get a community that understands. Yes, there are many stories. But in particular, we had one lady that accompanied the other, and she did not think that she needed a pap smear. And the other friend she said, no, let's go get it done. You never know. And she actually was the one who had pre-cancer lesion stage 3, which was just about to become cancerous. And she couldn't believe it. But that lesion can be removed, and she's free of pre-cancer lesion. She is coming for yearly checkups, and she can't thank that friend enough. And I think that was very powerful. I think the most rewarding is to see women that come in numbers and thank us for bringing this service to them. It's actually not free of charge because some people are sponsoring that it's done, but they are very grateful that this is an opportunity. And it also makes me happy that it's not only me, a lot of doctors, healthcare providers are willing to be part of, and the screening involves a lot of people, the doctors, the secretaries around this complex. People are willing to be part of. A lot of women have been coming through, and they were not aware that something was happening on their cervixes. And I would say it has been incremental from 2021 up to date. When we started in 2021, we had 9% of women that actually had abnormal pap smears. To date, last year, we had 32% of women that came through that had abnormal pap smears. It's quite rewarding for us to see that this service is given and people then can make decisions to go and have further medication or further procedures to be done. I should say, because of financial constraints, is we do send most of our patients or our clients to the state hospital to have the procedures done. Because people think that if you have cervical cancer or you've got abnormal cells on the cervix, you are sexually active or promiscuously having multiple sexual partners, and therefore that deters women from coming to have the screening done. But generally, it's been very much accepted, and we started only screening in town, and we had to move to Kwisebmund when we realized women were not coming from that area, and the acceptance has increased. Therefore, our screening rate has also increased. I think we need to start from the beginning, which government has already embarked on, which is HPV vaccination. Vaccination has already started, which I'm very grateful to the state for doing that, because that's the beginning. We need to prevent HPV infection. And so if our young ladies, our young girls are prevented, definitely our burden of disease will be less. We still need to do more coverage on women that are screened for pap smears. Instead of doing cytology or looking at the cells, I believe we need to type every woman to know what their HPV status is so that we can decide whether to give them a procedure that is colposcopy and removing the abnormal cells if they are there, rather than just checking whether the cells are there. When we check for cells, we are presuming that the person has already been exposed to human papillomavirus, which might not be the case. So if you've got HPV and you don't have abnormal cells on the cervix, then you need more follow-up, because then we don't know when the cells will change depending on the type of the HPV. So cytology will then be a later procedure that can be done after HPV. I would vaccinate boys and girls because at the moment the move is to vaccinate all girls, but we also know that boys can be vaccinated, and that is actually the source of the HPV. So we should vaccinate the boys. I would also screen all women, regardless of whether they're financially stable or not, so that we can screen and find out who has got HPV, who doesn't have HPV, which women need more follow-up. And for those with the lesion or the abnormalities on the cervix, I would definitely avail them the procedure to remove the abnormal cells. What we have encountered in our screening is that when we have screened the women and they know that there are abnormal cells on the cervix, we can't offer them the next procedure because that requires funding. And so I would go all out and just make sure every woman is protected. I would say, please just go and get screened. Screening is not painful. Screening takes such a short period of time for you to actually know your status. We have moved as a practice and as a community to actually screen for HPV. So know your HPV status. And for us, that is free because the community avails this to you. So please go and get screened. They already are actually. This is not, okay, we initiated it, but it has actually become bigger than Dr. Jekerta Kumalo surgery. We have doctors, we've got nurses, we've got doctors who have offered their space for us to screen the women. We have the community sponsoring us to actually do the work. So because of financial constraints, we can't do more, but women and doctors and even other men who are doctors are willing to help.
Okay, so
that's a tough one, but I look at it that every woman should be healthy. A healthy woman is a healthy nation. If every woman gets healthy, whether from cervical cancer or breast cancer or from all the other complications a woman can have, then we have a better nation. So when my story is told, or when our community story is told, we should be the best region in providing a preventative medicine to women and to our community at large.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I would want to thank the community for being there for the women, and I would ask the community to continue sponsoring, especially for screening purposes. Let's screen our community so that we've got a healthier community. When we did the last pap smear screening, we also extended to checking whether your blood sugar was fine, whether your blood pressure was okay. And we were surprised to see women who are moving around with medical conditions that they are not even aware of. So screening, I think, is key to a healthy community.
This is our campsite today. It's an awesome one, very quiet in town. It's a holiday and there's nobody around. It's just the petrol station attendants and that's it. We're gonna go for a walk through ours today. There's flood warnings coming in from every side. Michael that we met, the Israeli guy, took his bike out to Mariental side. He wanted to go to Seserim. Says the C19 is also flooded. I spoke to some other overlanding contacts that we have. There's big flash floods coming in all around. On the way to Luderitz, luckily it's a tarred road. We're gonna spend the weekend here just to try and get our things together, mellow down a bit after all of the recruitments in Keetmanshoop. Did get some word from the campsite host that there's a lovely walking trail right out back. Apparently Namibia hasn't had good rain in this area for about 7 years, in Keetmanshoop for 12 years. So we came at just the right time. It is making the gravel roads challenging. Betsy's going to be just fine. She is 4x4, but she's also 10.5 tons, so getting that out of the mud is going to be interesting. At least we got that winch. Okay, it's Monday morning, still in us, and it's been a good breather at this campsite. Gets a bit much if you're talking to 200 people a week. Yolandi's going to be catching up on some chores today with some washing and all that. And I'm going to see if I can dig into this bracket. It needs to be welded. It broke off right here and I found the perfect piece of steel lying on the campsite actually. Coincidentally, it's going to be the perfect gusset. I'm just going to cut it in half.
Simple when I'm changing lane. I ain't going back. No, I ain't going back. No,
Ja, lekker begin maar. Oh, maar het lijkt of hij happy is.
hungry, broken, cold,
by die watergat, 3 kilometer aan en dan regs.
Never simple when I'm changing lanes. Oh, when you've been in trouble and you don't know where to go, to stand up tall and haul your heavy load. Honey, you and I can find a windy road less traveled and leave behind this wicked world of woe. That's why I never look back in my rearview mirror. Nothing there but more of the same. No, I never look back in my rearview mirror. Never simple when I'm changing lanes. But more of the same. No, I never look back in my rearview mirror. Never simple when I'm changing lane. I said never simple when I'm changing lane. Oh, Lord.
Since Michael got held up by the rain, he could think of nothing better to do than to turn around and ride back 500 kilometers to offer us a helping hand.
We had to come and check out Diaz Point, and it's super windy today, but hopefully we'll get a good sunset in.
Daarmee die einde van vandag se episode van Kletskompas. Baie dankie dat jy by ons aangesluit het. Ons is ongelukkig nie môre terug nie, maar ons is maandag weer terug in ons selfde tydgleef om 8:00 die aand op Netwerk Televisie DStv 285 en GoTV 25, asook oneup2.com sou jy dit aanlyn verkies. So tot volgende week van my, Irene Marie van der Walt en die Kletskompas span, is dit mooi bly.